Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of your favorite talk show, Bahrain Now, with me, your host, Bara Abdallah. We've got a great show lined up full of local talents, initiatives, and happenings from around the island. So stay tuned, we'll be right back. Inside Therapy, a center dedicated to provide support for patients to help them deal with issues related to mental health in order to lead a better life. Who are they and what do they provide? With us in the studio is Razan Shaheen, a psychologist. Well, good evening.
Hello.
Well, you know, the whole thing with the psycho mental health issues going on in the Middle East is just growing and growing. So tell us more, first of all, about your center.
Absolutely. So Insights Therapy Center was established by the founders are Iman Nuruddin and Munira Sheikh. They felt that it was very important for the field of psychotherapy to be established as a legitimate field within the field of health overall in Bahrain, and so they really helped contribute to legitimizing that field within here in Bahrain. And so since Insights Therapy Center has started, we have grown our team to sort of a wonderful team of very highly qualified therapists.
Amazing, amazing. So you have a mission, right, going on?
Yes.
A really strong mission.
Yeah.
And a lot of cases right now taking place definitely at this center.
Absolutely, yes. The pandemic has definitely made it so a lot of people are experiencing a lot more stress, a lot more panic, a lot more anxiety about certain things.
Okay.
So.
Now, if I'm going to go back to what you just said right now, the pandemic. Now, we all knew it was a bit too hard for us to deal with what's going on. But from your perspective, what really happened to people's mental health during the pandemic?
I think that it was a complete shift in the way that we are and the way that we do things. It's sort of people sometimes where we went from having a routine of getting up, going to work, being in the office, seeing people, interacting with people, and then having all of that get taken away rather suddenly. It's a very big shock and it's a big adjustment for people. And so I think sometimes just being able, when we sit at home and we are really just sitting there with our thoughts and with our demons, so to speak,
right,
they kind of come out to play, let's say, and then that's where we come in.
Oh, wow. So you had a lot of cases. You had to deal with them all together. So were there like a certain pattern that you noticed, like more of others that took place at the center?
Honestly, surprisingly, it was a lot of everything.
Okay.
But I'll say mainly anxiety type of stuff. A lot of people are sort of feeling very anxious because there's a lot of uncertainty in the world right now, and it's hard to adjust to being so uncertain about so many things, sort of more than the average of what we're used to.
Oh, wow. So now you have a lot of therapists, right? And are they like categorized in different fields, or like, you know, most can take any case coming in?
So we're all qualified to take in sort of most cases, but we all have what we call like our special interests. And so what I think is really cool about us is sort of you can look us up on our website, and our profiles will have our special interests listed. And so the client also gets to choose who they want as their therapist based on these special interests.
Wow, wow. I mean, I'm sure you've been through this and you heard it a lot, especially here in the Middle East, that where a lot of people don't seek help when it comes to mental issues. Why do you think that's the case?
I think people really underestimate how brave and how much courage it takes for a person to like sit in a chair in front of a complete stranger and open up your heart and open up your soul, all of your vulnerabilities, everything. People really underestimate, I think, how much courage. It really is an impressive amount of courage for a person to actually reach out for help. And people really underestimate that, and people kind of think that, oh, you should just be grateful for what you have, or just pray and all your things will be solved, or no, this is a family thing, you have to keep it within the family, you know, naib to talk about it outside. And that whole stigma of it is a very heavy burden for a person to carry as well. So I think there's the certain level of empowerment, I think, that is required in order for a person to make the choice to come to therapy.
Definitely, definitely. You actually ticked everything right there. I mean, I heard them all. It's that, oh, the family, or hey, don't worry, time will heal all. And like, it's time and effort, first of all. And the stigma is really strong. How can we help like get people to know that, hey, you need to actually move forward, you need to ask for help? What kind of awareness do we need?
I think that the internet is actually being very helpful for this, especially social media. I think that as like therapists, most of us basically have public profiles right now that are dedicated to psychoeducation and spreading awareness and all of that. And it's becoming now a lot more accessible and very easy for us now to find sort of psychoeducation and all of that kind of stuff on social media. And I think that part helps in helping a person also see that, okay, there's a different way that I can go about this, and maybe it might be okay for me to go to help for someone else. And I think young people are a little bit more okay with the idea of going to therapy compared to sort of previous generations. So I think we're on the right track.
Right.
There's hope for the world.
Amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
So now, what made you enter this field?
Good question. So I think, honestly, I've always really liked to help people, and I think honestly I'm the oldest child in my family, so I've been raised honestly to be a helpful person. And I really enjoy listening to people's, not so much their problems, I like listening to people's problems obviously, but I enjoy listening for strength and resilience and seeing people's growth and how they are overcoming challenges sort of time and time again. And I think that for me is really the thing that sort of convinces me to wake up in the morning and constantly feel energized about doing my job.
Wow, wow. I mean, I'm sensing a lot of strength, you know, from you right now, you know, everything you've been doing. And I can only imagine the challenges you have to face when you just sit down in front of somebody and just hear their problems. Is that sometimes challenging, just to hear all those information per day from, like, let's say 10 to 20 people? I mean, how do you do that?
I think self-care is really, really important.
Okay.
Self-care and boundaries. I think that with experience as therapists, we kind of get to the point where we can have a separation between like client and ourselves. It does honestly take experience, it does take practice, because at the very beginning of it, you are kind of like, oh my God, like, I don't know what to do. Sort of, you really take on the client's problems as your own. That's not saying that now I also don't think about clients when I go home, but it's a different kind of way. It's more in the, okay, what can I do? How can I help? Or a thought crosses my mind of, oh, hey, this reminded me of that person or that. But yeah, definitely self-care, first and foremost, is the thing that really helps us build our own muscles for having sort of the ability to hear other people.
Amazing, amazing. Now, hearing all of this, I would like to ask you, what would be the best way to take care of your mental health these days with social media, you know, with all this is going on, information, entertainment, and all of that, news, and just hitting us not even per day, but per minute. How can we take care of our mental health?
So I think one, recognizing what is our own mental capacity, because we're constantly bombarded by negative things. If it's not from the news, it is through social media. It is through friends, WhatsApp groups. We're constantly getting bombarded with like negative things, honestly. So us being able to recognize what it is that I can and cannot handle in this moment, and then actively honoring that limit as well. Again, this part also kind of takes practice, because we're also kind of used to sacrificing different parts of ourselves for the sake of others, essentially. The other thing is, just being able to make sure that we find time to have fun, enjoy our lives, do things that bring us joy in some way, shape, or form. Sort of, if it's exercise, eating right, journaling, meditation, yoga, whatever it might be. Everyone's going to have their own thing of what works for them. So it's just about the process of actually finding that.
Okay, well, actually today I started a new diet, a new workout plan. Hopefully that's going to work out for me, not only in the sense of losing weight, but just a better mental state. Because recently we noticed, not only with me, but a lot of people working, even the media field itself, the amount of stress is just unbearable sometimes. So that's why, like, hearing you right now, like, definitely I feel more grateful for me taking that step in like changing my food and changing my work plan. This has
Absolutely.
been very insightful,
Thank
Razan,
you.
definitely. Any last words to your viewers?
I think that all I want to say honestly is that therapy is cool, and it's okay for us to be able to take that step towards sort of prioritizing our mental health, because it is a part of all of our health. Honestly, we all have mental health, and it's, you know, working towards normalizing the process of going to therapy.
Love this. Thank you so much. It has been an honor and a pleasure having you with us here on Bahrain Now.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Much appreciated.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, taking care of your mental health is so important, actually to the point, top priority, as we just had it right here with Razan from Inside Therapy on Bahrain Now. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure to have with us here in the studio Mohammed Fahro, who is a film director and the co-founder of Blue Steel Films. Mohammed, welcome to Bahrain Now.
Thanks for having me here.
It's a pleasure.
Pleasure is mine.
Definitely.
Thank you.
So you've been a film director for like a really good period, and a lot of things have been happening. Your name is like running everywhere.
All right.
We had a lot of film directors here, and just a few days ago,
Yeah.
Movie Convo was telling me, hey, by
Yeah.
the way, Mohammed Fahro. I'm like, yeah, you're gonna hear from him soon. And I'm like, I didn't expect you being on the TV set itself.
Well, thanks.
So it's a great pleasure.
Thanks.
So tell us more about you and film directing.
Yeah, well, I started my film career after I came back from France in 2017, and I guess the birth of Blue Steel Films happened with Cloven, which is a folk tale based off of the story of Ahmar. And and from there, Blue Steel started.
Okay.
And after Blue Steel started, we went on to do feature films, documentaries, short films, and then the rest is history.
Amazing. To relate to you right now, I acted in a movie a long time ago. Okay, it's called Dead Sense.
Oh yeah, I've seen Dead Sense twice.
Twice?
I
Why?
loved it.
So I got killed by Ahmar at the very end of the
I remember
movie.
it's the epilogue.
Yeah.
It's at the end of the film.
And you know, they just had all this Vimto on me because, you know, you're dying. So instead of like getting, you know, whatever paint,
Yeah.
Vimto. Lots of Vimtos, man. I think we used at least 150 bottles.
Oh wow. Okay. So it must have been really sticky afterwards.
Yeah. Diabetes all the way. But it's amazing to see what's been going on with you. And I want to ask you, like, a lot of, when it comes to the Bahraini scene for film directing and production, we heard a lot of people going to the Fulbright program in the States or New York Film Academy or University of Bahrain or Polytechnic.
Yeah.
But you actually went to France.
Yes.
So what made you go to France?
Well, I had just come back from France from a summer trip before deciding to go to France to do film. And it was an option between Italy, France, and the States.
Okay.
And I didn't want to go too far. And to be quite honest, the States was way more expensive for me than it was for Italy or France. And because I had never pursued film before, I didn't want to take such a big risk and go full out and go to the States. So I thought, let me just go to France and learn the basics of filmmaking. So I did a year of filmmaking in France, and then I came back to Bahrain after a year. Yeah, in 2017. Yeah.
I mean, going through your social media account, I get to see a lot of faces that are recognized in Bahrain, like Ali Fingers.
Oh yeah,
you know?
of course. Ali Fingers, we've been collaborating quite a bit.
It's amazing. He actually as well was here for an interview, so we had a lot of talks. That's what's good. Khalid Bukhari, one of your actors.
Yeah, Khalid did great. Yeah. Khalid is actually, because I worked with Khalid on a short film called Run.
Right.
And because I wanted to see his physicality. I wanted to see how he looks on camera. I wanted to see how he moves, and he did great on Run. And he did great in Cult as well.
Amazing.
So I'm Yeah, it was great.
Even Wadah is on the set.
Oh, Wadah was great too. Wadah has that look and that
does.
voice,
He
that
does,
really,
yeah.
it just says bad guy, you know?
Right. And that beard, man.
Yeah, the beard, of course. Yeah, we actually put a scar on his face too. But yeah, we wanted him to really feel like, all right, this is the bad guy and this is the good guy. And we also had a very good actress. Her name is Rena Adamedeen.
Wow.
She's a Lebanese actress who is based here in Bahrain. And she actually has been on Sex and the City Part 2,
Okay.
CSI Miami,
Wow.
Law and Order, I think Law and Order, but yeah, definitely CSI Miami. So it's just coincidence that she's here in Bahrain because her
Interesting.
husband works in Saudi. So
Okay.
like it was just pure luck that I had her here in Bahrain. So she
Awesome.
plays the witch in
Ah.
Cult. And we also have another actor. His name is Khadr Fouzi,
Okay.
who plays Dagon, who's basically the Sargon's bodyguard. Sargon is Wadah. And yeah, everyone did great. The entire cast and crew did great. I couldn't be more happier than.
Amazing. So the thing is, Cloven, Cult, we're gonna talk about that in a bit.
Sure,
but
yeah.
Tell us more about your take of producing a film.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, when people ask me, okay, how did you do this? How did you do that?
Right.
It's just all about your prep and your vision and how much how passionate you are to tell your story. So if I was going to give advice to a filmmaker in Bahrain, I would definitely tell them to, like, if you really have enough passion for your story that you want to tell, and you really have enough love and just really passion to do your movie, you can't help but make a good.
Right.
It will turn out right, but your heart has to be in the right place, and you got to be very, harsh and realistic with yourself in terms of knowing what the audience want to see and what's going to entertain the audience. But if you're going to get technical about how to make a movie and all that, there's like a whole ocean that you need to align yourself with before going and producing a film. And yeah, it's your who's going to be your DP, your production design, your actors,
Wow.
your costumes, props, location. Yeah, it's a lot.
But you're enjoying it. It seems like
Oh,
it.
of course, yeah. I was a banker for 5 years.
Wow.
Before quitting banking and going to do film. So it's not that I didn't enjoy banking, but
Right.
it wasn't for me.
Okay.
And I just said, okay, enough is enough, because since I was a kid, I've always watched films, and it was in my DNA to, I feel, to go out and tackle film. It just needed a push,
Okay.
and that's what happened.
What was that push?
Oh, the push was when I just thought to myself and said, like, what's going to happen 20 years from now when I look back? And am I going to look back on myself with being a banker for 20 years or being in whatever job, really, other than film? So I made a decision, and I went. There's a lot of risk involved, of course, and you're going to have to sacrifice a lot of things in your life if you're going to pursue this kind of career.
Right.
So, yeah, thank God things have been, looking good. And I was obviously worried in the beginning about if I was making the right move.
Can imagine, man.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
But yeah, I've surrounded myself with good people, and my two partners at Blue Steel Films, which is Ahmed Salahuddin and Zuhaib Latif. We started Blue Steel together with the initiative of building and growing the narrative filmmaking scene in Bahrain. And that is, really my main goal in terms of like what I want to do with Blue Steel. But of course, Blue Steel, we do commercials, we do promo vids,
Right.
we do corporate videos, documentaries, you name it. But my personal like what I really want to do the most is
Right.
build the filmmaking, the narrative filmmaking scene in Bahrain.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, for a really long time, Bahrain as like seeing this, like I would say, it's been on a slow cooking mode, you know, until we reach to a point that we have a person like Mohammed Fahro right now.
Yeah.
in
But
the
we have great filmmakers. You know,
Definitely.
in the past 3 years, you know, I've met a lot of talented filmmakers, and
Amazing.
it was just it was very. Excuse me, I had a burp. It was very refreshing to see all of these other
Exactly.
filmmakers, and
Exactly.
you know and the collaboration between us. It just went really well because I've worked with, you know, Ahmed Akbar, Ali Fingers,
Right.
Mohammed Sultan. You have a guy called Jafar Hassan. You have. You know, there are a lot of Ali Salam is a good
right.
filmmaker as
Right.
well. You know, I'm sorry if I'm not mentioning all the names. I can't remember right now, but yeah, it's been great. You know, meeting all these
Definitely,
people.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, we had different interviews with people right here, like I mentioned earlier, Ali Fingers, or
Yeah.
Dina, Dina Pro as well, who's been to the full
Yes,
flight.
of course, Dina. We're producing Dina's film actually in October.
Oh wow!
Yeah, yeah. She has a
see,
film coming out in October.
I love this because now we get to see that the filmmaking industry right now in Bahrain is getting more, I would say, active,
Yeah,
more noticed, more acknowledged.
yeah.
Do you see the same thing, or is that like pretty much
Definitely.
been there for a while?
No, I really see a growth in the filmmaking scene. You know, I really do feel as if I really do feel that the numbers are growing, and more people are going out there and wanting to do their films and telling their stories. Definitely, I do
Okay.
see that. Yeah.
So now cult.
Okay, cult. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about this forever because the excitement is really happening.
Yeah,
but as
yeah.
we go through your Instagram account
Yeah.
and we see the Dulmunian folktale cult,
Yeah.
tell us
yeah.
more about that.
So Cult first started off in 2018. I met up with a Bahraini author called Brahim Beshmi, and Brahim Beshmi mainly does, you know, children's stories. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to take one of his children's stories and, you know, put my own touch to it, because
Okay.
a lot of his stories are like folklores, and I love folklores. I love myths. I love it when you watch something, you escape your reality and you dive into the world of whatever you're watching, which are my favorite genres, are like science fiction, horror, thriller, you name it. But mainly, so yeah, sorry, I digress. But yeah, so Cult started off with that. I took his stories, and then so Cult was supposed to be like a Da Vinci Code style film.
Okay.
And the main character was this archaeologist working in Bahrain University.
All right.
So, and we were supposed to set it like in the 80s. But then I thought, like, you know what? It doesn't seem too realistic for a cult to be out there in the desert in the 80s and no one to know about it.
Right.
So then I decided to. I told my DP Zuhaib, and I told my partner Ahmed Salahuddin, like, how about we do it Dilmun days, you know, and make it like 2000 BC.
Okay.
Because that way it would be more believable for a cult to be out there doing, you know, all of their evil
Cult
things.
stuff.
Cult stuff. So it went from that, and we were supposed to shoot Cult in April 2020, but because of COVID, we had to postpone for the entire year. So it went from April 2020 to March 2021, which is
Wow.
when we shot film. And we hired, because we had so much of a load on us, we hired Wicked Productions as co-producers to help us with the load. And yeah, one thing I want to mention is my cinematographer, director of photography, Zuhaib Latif. He was my DP on Cloven, and I was so blown away with his lighting and
It
with
was beautiful.
with his talent and with his skills. So Cult blew me away even further. Like, I didn't expect Cult to turn out looking that nice, but yeah, I owe a lot to Zuhaib Latif. He's also our partner at Blue Steel Films, and that's how Cult came to be. Cult is a supernatural action thriller that that is very violent. It's very dark.
Okay.
And yeah, it's not for the faint-hearted, really.
Oh,
you know.
wow. Produced in Bahrain.
Produced in Bahrain, and we shot it at Bahrain Fort. And another thing I want to say, I really want to thank BACA, which is which were called Ministry of Culture before.
Okay.
They have been a support since the beginning of my career, and they actually gave us the approval to shoot at Bahrain Fort
Amazing.
for 2 days.
Amazing.
And we milked it, you know. We just went and we put torches, we put all these little, you know, artifacts, and yeah, it just, the set looked great.
Okay.
And yeah, and other than that, like, what else can I say about Cult? I mean, yeah, I can't say too much about
Yeah,
Cult.
I know. You don't want to,
because-
like, spoilers, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to, you know, we were looking to develop Cult, so
Right.
it can get a bit sensitive about what I say about
Okay.
it. But it is a very dark, supernatural action thriller. I can say that at least.
I mean, definitely we noticed that you do favor the horror genre.
Yes, I love the horror genre very much so.
It shows even in Cloven. And by the way,
Yeah.
my mom says hi.
Oh,
It's like beautiful work, but a'udhu billah, because she got really hit. She got really affected. It's like she
Okay.
loved it, but then like, okay, I'm getting goosebumps. So, you know,
Yeah.
it reached, your effect really reached people.
oh, that's music to my ears. Man. Okay, thank
A'udhu
you.
billah.
Tell her I say thanks. Yeah.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. So now, we
You
have a
asked
lo-
why horror as well?
Yeah, definitely. We like to know that.
Yeah, horror, I mean, I love the horror genre because, you know, with horror movies, you really go through the thrill and the excitement without the consequences. You know, because you're not being chased by a chainsaw or being possessed by a demon. You're there for the ride, and that's it. So that kind of rush people get when they watch horror, you don't get that so much with drama or romance or comedy. You get it more with the thrillers, with the horrors, with the dark science fictions. So it's really, yeah, that's what it is. It's experiencing the thrill and excitement without the consequences, like a roller coaster.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why I can't take them. Yeah, horror, you're right. I can't do horror movies.
Oh,
but
you can't do horror.
But Cult, I mean, I'm gonna give that an exception. That's definitely it.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's been an amazing talk with you, Mohammed, honestly.
Thank
so
you.
any last words to your viewers?
I mean, if you're a filmmaker and if you're passionate to tell your story, and you really have, you know, the fire in you to go out and to make your movie, you know, us as Blue Steel Films, we support these filmmakers. We will help you as much as we can because we do have our inventory of equipment, we have our staff. So if there's anyone out there and they want to make a movie, you know, just let us know and we'll do our best to make your story come true. Yeah.
I will be giving you a call. That's for sure.
Thank you.
Well, much appreciated.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being with us here on Bahrain Now.
Thanks.
And we're going to look forward to your movie.
Thank
or
you.
mini-series, I'm sorry, Cult.
Thank you very
Definitely.
much. Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Cloven Cult with Blue Steel Films. All that took place in an interview right here on Bahrain Now. Ladies and gentlemen, nothing brings people together like good food. With us here is Zainab Akbar, who is a Bahraini food blogger, influencer, and a serious foodie. Eating is her business. So, good evening, Zainab. How are you?
Hi, good. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. So, now you graduated with a degree of English literature,
Yes.
and you're a food blogger. How do they come together?
Now the thing is, I have always had this passion and love for food, and I used to order food like deliveries almost every single meal, every day, almost. So I learned a lot about like all the restaurants that are there, and people started asking me about these restaurants. So at the same time, though, when I graduated, I started working in a law firm and then moved to the banking sector. So this had nothing to do with English or food.
Right.
So, in order to bring these two worlds together, in 2013, I started a food blog, a proper food blog that has long articles about my experience in food. And that was in English.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, yeah, I get to see the relation right now.
Yeah.
I'm using my English for a better good.
Yes.
Right. You know, force right there. Now, you start writing articles,
Yes.
but then you decided to take over Instagram.
Yes. In 2015, like 2 years after working on my blog, I noticed that the new generation actually, like, they're not that much interested in reading long articles. And at that time, Instagram was the popular platform in Bahrain. So that's when I decided to start my Instagram, the food menu. And the food menu is basically the main thing in a restaurant when you first sit on the table, the food menu.
Right.
And that's how it started.
Okay, simple yet fun. And you know, it was actually a smart move because, you know, yeah, the new generation doesn't really want to read a lot anymore.
Exactly, exactly. They want pictures and just short, brief information.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So another thing you've been really into is the food tours.
Yes.
Tell us more about that.
Now, the thing is, in general, I love food and I love learning about food. So I traveled a few times to different countries just for food. And I met food bloggers from around the world. What they did is they took me on tours to try their traditional food. And I thought to myself, why not start the same thing in Bahrain?
Okay.
So last year, this idea came to life, and my husband, with the help of my husband, we started our first local food tour. Our beginnings were very simple. We just had 15 people who registered, but then it went over 30 people.
Wow.
And we had people from all over the world, Mexican, Italians, from UK, from a lot of places. But it just started. And
Okay.
yeah. In Manama and Maharraq basically. But we're planning to like go to other places too.
All right, give me a scenario right now. Let's say you're going to Rafah to do a food tour over there. So how do you start?
I don't know much about Rafah.
Okay.
All my experience for now is Manama and Maharraq.
Okay, let's do Maharraq then.
Okay, we start from the souk basically.
Okay.
And we walk through all the old alleys of Maharraq, but we eat our way through these alleys.
All right.
Yes. You know, like Za'faran, Razji, all
Right.
these old, Alu Bashir, all
Okay.
these old places. And we show them Bahrain through our eyes, which is through food basically.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to join your tour next time.
Inshallah, why
Yeah,
not?
like,
Yes.
You know, and just on my cheat day, of course.
Inshallah.
We just started a diet.
Inshallah.
Great, great. I mean, I'd love to hear of this. What about food is culture? Tell us about that.
Yes, I also collaborated with the Bahrain Authority for Culture and Antiques, and I hosted a few tours in Manama and along the Pearling Path in Maharraq. And yeah, we had a few, and hopefully this year will continue when the weather is better.
Great, great. Now, being a food blogger, what is your favorite? You must have a favorite.
Favorite cuisine?
Cuisine,
favorite
yeah.
food? I love Lebanese food,
Okay.
and I love Japanese food, mostly sushis and makis.
What is your favorite maki?
I love anything raw with tuna and salmon.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Mine would be the California roll.
Yeah, this is the standard one.
This is standard, right? Okay. Well, I like standard. Thank you very much. Now, what about Lebanese? What's your favorite dish?
Everything.
Everything is
I
Lebanese.
love how Lebanese food is so colorful. And I love vegetables. So most of their food is vegetarian.
Right.
Most of their food.
Okay.
So almost everything in Lebanese cuisine attracts me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What about the Indian cuisine?
The
Indian.
The Indian, I like to eat everything and
Right.
anything,
Right.
but my favorites are Lebanese and Japanese. Indian is good, but I don't like spicy food too much. That's why. But it's still good. It's still
The
good.
director right now is like, yeah, I can tell. All right, so now, being a food blogger, as fun as it may sound and seem, but you know, taking a toll on your body when you have to eat everything, right? The
Yeah.
fried, the non-fried, the grilled, the veggies, everything goes in.
Yes.
Do you do a cleansing process?
Yes. Every now and then I try to cleanse my system, and the thing is that I've noticed after all this time blogging, I don't always feel healthy.
Yeah.
I feel like my health needs more attention. So I started researching. I don't really like diets. So I started researching, and I wanted something to just add to what I'm doing already.
Okay.
So I found out about healthy juices, juicing, green juices.
Okay.
And I invested in a really good juicer, and I started juicing at home.
Oh, that's very
Yep,
interesting.
and it has made a huge difference.
I will give that a try.
Yep.
It's like I'll juice maybe for 3 or 4 days. I mean, there's just like water fasting where people just go drink water for 5 days. That's a bit
another,
extreme, right?
Yes.
That's a bit extreme.
So adding juices like skipping breakfast and having a green smoothie, for example, that's much easier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, very interesting, you know,
Yeah.
being a food blogger with the food tours and the food is culture. What is the future?
I have a few ideas on my mind, but for now, I want to concentrate on these local food tours.
Okay.
I want to grow, to make it grow and expand, and yeah,
That's beautiful. I mean,
Yeah.
I may actually join one of your tours. Let's go.
inshallah.
Definitely.
Inshallah, yeah.
Any last words to your viewers?
So whatever you've studied and wherever you work, put this aside and follow your dreams, follow your passion, and whatever you like, because this will work more than anything else.
I will take your word for that. Definitely.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for being with us here on Bahrain Now, and
Thank you.
can't wait to take one of your tours.
Inshallah.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Food tours, food is culture, food blogging, all that with Zainab Akbar as she took us to a tour with her journey in food blogging here on Bahrain Now. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap for another great episode of Bahrain Now. As usual, be sure to reach out to us on our social media accounts shown below and stay tuned for more exciting segments on Bahrain Now. This was Bara Abdallah. Till next time, good night and God bless.